Hello, 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 and welcome at long last to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. Guys, it's just tough to get off your keister and want to talk about this team right now. Probably since we started this podcast, this might be the most cringeworthy era of Club Leon football. There have been more cringeworthy eras since or before that, but since we've been doing this, I don't know if there really have been. And what's happened since the last time we came on? Well, a long-awaited coaching change. We
A lot of
lost
stuff.
out. We lost out on a international fichaje that might have been a game changer for the worst of reasons, money. We had one player we thought was gone coming back, and maybe the best player in recent memory of the team and the recent history of the team signing with possibly the worst possible place he could go in the entire league. So things haven't gotten much better. And to top it off, we haven't won a game in 8 tries across 2 competitions since the semester started back in July. So, guys, how are we feeling about this team right now? I'm trying to get myself amped up. I'm trying to get enthused to talk about this team right now, and it's not the easiest thing to do. How are we guys doing? I'm here with Carlos and Javier. What say you guys?
Well,
Carlos.
like you said, it's tough to be a Club Leon fan right now. Things just kind of, I don't know. We just kind of hit a brick wall with everything. This was supposed to be a coach long term. He was supposed to be here for 2 or 3 years. He's supposed to rebuild the team, which he was. He was rebuilding the team, and he couldn't do it. He just wasn't up to the job, and unfortunately for us, our hearts and our souls have been dragged around by this guy that just left, and we've had to suffer maybe the last 8 months, the most harsh 8 months as a Club Leon fan that I can remember in recent years.
Yeah.
Thank God that's over. Now it's a fresh start with Berizzo joining Club Leon, and hopefully everything goes uphill from here.
Uphill, and it's something that I was trying to like explain to like people, like, doesn't this feel familiar? Like, if you guys believe in deja vus, it just felt like this is already, I've seen this before. I don't care how many partidos les des, how many, if you les das 5 años, I feel like if there's no chemistry at all with, like, not even like, I don't even say the fans, but just like it doesn't, like when Chavo Diaz was técnico de León, I just didn't. It was one of those eras where I was like, man, I don't know. It's one of those where I kind of like against Tijuana, which Louis didn't go and I didn't go because I was out. I had to work, but also I had a feeling Leon was gonna lose, and it was kind of like not only did I have a feeling, but part of me also knew that for the better of Leon, maybe they did need to lose. I felt like losing to Tijuana over there it's never a good thing. So I did feel like that could have been the last straw. It was a game that for me felt like it was now or never. Louis pointed out many times on our little WhatsApp group that it's the break. The FIFA would be the perfect time para traer someone new, a new coach, and it's exactly what happened. And you know, um, again, even me, I was like, I'm going to be realistic to what I think or thought Grupo Pachuca historically has done, right? So I was like telling myself, maybe Ruben Omar Romanos is going to come. I'll be more realistic, like maybe not so expensive technicals. I wanted Turco, but I was being realistic, like he's not going to come. They're not going to waste a lot of money, but let's be real. Ahorita el técnico que acaba de llegar, Eduardo Berizzo, for sure isn't a cheap técnico. So right there, it's already a plus. It's already like, oh, okay. Also, knowing who he is, it caught me off guard because last time I knew about him, I thought he was una selección, pero I'm not even sure. Reservas. So like I was like last time I heard of him, he wasn't even like like coaching. So when he was announced, it did make me feel like, and Louis knows I have a lot of respect for Newells and even when it came to when Torrente came, like I didn't know anything really about him, just that he was an auxiliar. But
Yeah.
I kind of felt I knew that after the fact. But with Berizzo, I did know about his su tiempo con Atlas, referente. I'm a big fan of La Liga Mexicana of the '90s. So him coming to like him being announced and just knowing what sus palmares and it's debatable. Like maybe he could be one of the most most prepared or most experienced coach Leon has ever probably, maybe Tena con las Olimpiadas, but even then, him as a player, and maybe Ambriz as an auxiliar with Vasco Aguirre. But
Yeah.
I think this guy really definitely caught me off guard, and I'm going to be optimistic. And you guys always say too, this is La Liga Mexicana. We're no stranger to this Liga. All we need is a 4-game winning streak, and you never know what happens. And you never
Yep.
know. It could happen this Saturday. I've seen it. I've seen it drastically where a coach leaves, a new coach comes in, and it's like a team that wasn't winning, and then como que cambian el chip. Es un cambio de aire for the players. And who knows? Algo sí te puedo decir. And Baba just didn't. Even to us as fans, no convenció. So imagine the players.
Yeah. He just never connected with the fan base. So you feel good about Berizzo?
I feel good about Berizzo. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
we all
feel
know how you feel
optimistic.
about Bielsa and his tree, Javi. This is
Of course.
this
Well, you know
Toto.
Louis more than anybody.
Yeah, Toto is part of the Bielsa tree. We can't forget that.
Big
Yeah,
time. And
and
like again, go ahead. Sorry.
well, no, I was just gonna say I'm also optimistic about him. I mean, there's a lot to like. I know Carlos doesn't like to get into the weeds with like trayectoria and CVs and things like that. It doesn't matter what you've done. It matters what you're going to do now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it hasn't. It's been a while since we've had a manager with this kind of track record, with this kind of resume. He's coached in some
Yeah.
big places. He hasn't had a whole
Ooh,
ton
yeah.
of extended success at any of the stops that he was at. But I mean, look at the stops he was at. I think there's a reason that you keep getting those kind of jobs. He's definitely very highly regarded within the
Yeah.
coaching world. If you weren't, you wouldn't continue to get those jobs. I think it's also important to mention he had almost 100 appearances as a player with Atlas in the 90s. So obviously, as a coach, he's not going to know much about Liga MX now. I mean, he hasn't been involved in it, but he's no stranger to Fútbol Mexicano. Obviously, he
Yeah.
spent the better part of 3 years playing in Primera División in Mexico. So this is somewhat of a homecoming for him. I mean, he's obviously played in Estadio León before. He'll have played
Yeah.
in most of the places
Yeah.
that the club is going to take him. And a diferencia de Paiva, or obviously
Baba.
Baba did have some
Well, Baba
limited
did.
experience in Liga MX, but not much.
Was Leon,
No, this is not with Leon, with also with Atlas,
right?
but no,
Well,
with
Atlas, but was
Berizzo.
Leon
I
in
mean,
first division when Baba was portero?
Leon was not in first division
Mm.
when Baba played in Liga MX, and so no, I mean, so Toto Berizzo played in Liga MX, or it wasn't called Liga MX back then; it was just called Primera División. But he played in Primera División during some of the best years of Leon's history, the early to mid '90s.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was definitely aware of Club Leon, and I know he knows
Mm-hmm.
what kind of institution he's joining. And so I think that's not something to be discredited. I'm also optimistic. We'll wait and see. But I think he has a chance to do some good things here.
Also, when he was técnico de O'Higgins in Libertadores, he came to Leon as a coach. So yeah, of course you're right, Louis. Of course and that's always going to be important. Porque look, Matosas when he came to Leon, he talked about like, man, you don't gotta even tell me. When I was a kid and my dad was a player, Roberto Gran Matosas played for Toluca. He would go to the Plaza de Leon and the 70s Plaza de Leon. So that's always cool to see or to have play or coaches to know that how passionate, because we just saw with Larcamon, he defended his su instancia con Leon. He was like, hey man, like I understand you guys, what I did with Puebla was cool, but la gente de Leon is brava. La afición, they always want, we demand drastically like these results, and I think it's we deserve to be este tipo de afición que demanda de esta manera. But but if you have a coach like Baba, I felt like he didn't really understand. I felt he was more worried about going to Nacional and just thinking like, over there. And that's why, like, another thing about that, why I'm optimistic about Berizzo, and I know he has a lot of experience with youth and the youth system. And I've been saying this for years, that I think La Esmeralda has to be la solución de casi todos nuestros problemas. And I think that's going to be a good thing. I think we're going to see a lot of young players. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because when I look at, South America, for instance, you see players, that are playing in Europe and stuff, but their dream is to play with el equipo de su infancia, el equipo de sus amores. And that's kind of what I would love to see. A lot of players that son formados en la Esmeralda, but really, really, love the team the way we love the team, como la afición loves the team. And that's, again, that's why when it comes to coaches, it's always a good thing if they play in la Liga Mexicana, conocen la Liga, conocen la Plaza de León, and if they play for León, even better. Like that's always going to be a plus. So that's why when Nacho Ambriz was técnico, they announced him, and people were mad, and they were only mad because a lot of these reporteros were just saying, "Va a venir Almeida, va a venir esto, va a venir esto." So our hopes are really up. And when Nacho was announced, I felt like it was unfair that people were like, "Whoa, why this guy?" And I thought, like, hey man, give him the benefit of the doubt. At least I know for a fact que jugó en León, y conoce la plaza.
Yeah.
And I knew his whole history with la selección mexicana, siendo el capitán, que Menotti mismo dijo, este va a ser mi capitán. So, I've always thought like, heck yeah, when he came to León, I'm like, I actually want to believe in this project. So
yeah, man,
this is how I feel, exactly as optimistic.
Yeah, I just think you mentioned the Nacional thing with Baba. I think as soon as the rumors surfaced about him being in consideration for their head coaching position, I think that's where he wanted to be, and his heart was not in it here anymore. I'm going to say I don't think this is really a hot take. I think he had a pretty decent. I think Baba had a pretty decent first season with León. Obviously, he had the benefit of Viñas, who was maybe the best player in the league during that first season. But I mean, we got some wins last season, and it was in our hands on the final day of the season to qualify for Liguilla, and we didn't do it. But we had a sneaky okay season given what we had to work with. And this season it just wasn't going to happen for him. And those rumors came out about Nacional, and he's like, I think that's where he wants to be, and it wouldn't surprise me within the next coaching's change cycle if he's announced as the next manager of Nacional or within the next couple of years even. But it just wasn't a good fit. I mean, I saw that pretty decent first season that he had, and I wanted to believe in him, and it just it was not in the cards. So
and he already,
best of luck. Yeah,
I mean, one of the tougher things for me to accept is that there's already, I don't know, I guess you could see this however you want from whatever perspective you guys want to see this from, but the damage is done. I mean, he shipped out 12 players. Those 12 players eran jugadores, que sentían los colores, like Cota. Like, imagine how useful a captain like Cota or Mena would be right now, where like there's no clear captain, and our only real captain is sidelined in Adonis.
Adonis, right? He's
Well, I mean,
he's not trading Aparejo.
It should be Guardado, but I don't think he doesn't. I don't think he has as much left in the tank as we hoped he would.
Yeah, I mean, it's Guardado by experience, but like he hasn't won anything here at León like Cota and Mena did. Those guys, they've been here for a long time, and they've been through the ups and downs. They've won the championships. They've lifted those title trophies. So it's different when you have a player that's been. And we didn't have to kick all of them out. We could have done it one at a time, but like this guy the head started rolling, and 12 players gone. I mean, that's a lot of changes.
Well, I mean, and they were not replaced with comparable quality. That's the worst part. Doesn't matter. I never think about who's leaving. I think about who's coming in. All I care about is who's coming in.
Yeah.
And nobody who came in was of comparable quality to what went out. I'm in agreement really with the players who left. Honestly, I think their time was. You're right, Carlos, and Amena or Cota could help out right now in terms of what they bring to that dressing room. But I mean, at the time, I did not have an issue at all with either of them leaving, as long as there was a plan in place to bring in comparable quality. That simply has not happened. And all I can say is I'm optimistic about Berizzo, but let me just say this: if he has a solid second 2/3 2/3 to half of what's left of this season, I mean, if he does better than expected, the team wins some games. Maybe they make a low Liguilla seed and surprise some people. If he has a good quality season with what he has available to him, I hope in the next offseason he is given the liberty to bring in the players that he wants, and that those players will be paid for. We can't have stories happening like, no, the fichaje of Puma Rodriguez fell through because at the end of the day they didn't want to pay him. Like we cannot
Yeah.
have that. If those are the kind of
Unacceptable.
stories that keep coming out, then it doesn't matter who the coach is. No
Yeah.
coach is going to come in and be successful under those circumstances.
I
I
just
don't think
wrote
that's.
something that has to do with what you were
But you're
saying, which
right,
is
Javi.
crazy. You
Yeah.
touched this subject because I just saw an interview of Aris Hernandez, and it was an interview in which
Oh, I
he was
watched it too.
saying, yeah, and it had to do with the same thing. Like you're right. Maybe it could be you could bring I don't know. You can bring Guardiola or whatever. I think maybe it just has to do somewhere else because he also said something similar that he was the best lateral for years, and they weren't trying to keep him. They didn't really care about like his needs. Que le aumenten un poco el salario, and they even said no one even would want you. And now that's kind of petty for a directiva to say that. I don't know if that's true or not because it's hearsay. It's one sided,
Yep.
but these stories keep coming out and we know this for a fact que pues a veces no le gusta gastar mucho a la directiva, and that's understandable. But sometimes it comes at a price where like you're being too, what's the word, like como muy codo. I don't know what's the word is, but like
Too
that
greedy.
yeah, and you're ruining a lot of things. It's con lo del Puma. And to your point also, I got a little because that's a good point that Louis just brought, and it reminded me of lo que pasó con Aris, and you just mentioned something que por lo menos lo que sí le podemos agradecer a Baba, and I don't know because of course Louis just said they left and they didn't bring anybody, right? So this wasn't like, and that I've always hated that they don't have a plan B, C, or D. It
Yep.
feels like a lot of these things are spontaneous. So that again, Rodrigo Fernandez, if someone's going to be responsible for some of these things, it has to be at least el director deportivo because they have to have a plan Z de tus perfiles, de directores técnicos, and it just feels like, okay, who's available now, and it should be kind of more like, you kind of have an idea, but of course you respect el técnico que está en su momento. But
To be
to that
fair,
point,
yeah.
sorry,
I was gonna
to that,
just
go
one
ahead,
quick
sorry.
aside. I don't think it's fair to say they didn't bring anybody. They brought in 3 or
Yeah,
4 pieces that are very, very interesting. I think John Del
that's
Cádiz has a
true.
chance to be
Cádiz,
to be goleador del fútbol mexicano in one of these tournaments if he stays long enough. I think
yeah, por eso
uh,
me
I
están
think
cayendo la
Chava,
boca con Berizzo y estos, because
yeah, I
I was
think
gonna take it to
yeah.
Paiva where sorry, when he because sorry, Carlos was saying que lo único bueno de Baba, it is true, que sacó a los incómodos, or maybe the ones that, people were saying que rompen el vestidores, or maybe they weren't, whoever, if it's true or not, these also other rumors. Paiva recently said que en León sentí que no tenía el entorno para ser yo mismo y
That's right.
desarrollar el trabajo para el cual me han ido a buscar y entendí que debí salir por mi propio pie. That's crazy.
Wow. Who said? Wait, who
That's
said
crazy.
that? Paiva?
Paiva
Paiva,
recently
Oh,
yeah.
just said that.
dang.
So it
Yo,
connects full circle to everything.
you
So
gotta send me that.
again, yeah, it's a recent interview, and yeah, man, that's why when Lou was just saying this point, it could be more than hopefully, to be fair, like Louis is saying, Cadiz, interesting también, aunque I don't understand porque no va a poder jugar pues el Mundial de Clubes como no jugó el Leagues Cup Cabral,
Yeah.
interesting players que han trajido, pero yeah, it's like, but why at this point? Is it because now I'm seeing it, man, from all over la afición, and no nomás a veces ni siquiera muchos los de los reporteros, pero los que están en Twitter, they've been a little more vocal than usual, but it all kind of comes from the same point of anger, and it's kind of like, hey, man, just kind of do your job a little better. I don't think we're asking for that much, but to be fair, these couple of last decisions have been really good. Berizzo, lo que también fue bueno fue que no le aguantaron mucho a Baba. That's a good, también es para aplaudirle because, like we were saying, we all thought he was going to last till the end of the year because that's how Grupo
Yeah.
Pachuca, that's how they are.
I was
So I think,
convinced. I was
yeah, we were
convinced.
all, me too.
I was like, they would have done it by now, and they haven't fired him. I thought easily after League's Cup, right?
I
And
was praying. I
and
was praying like never before in my life. I was
yeah,
really on my knees. I was telling God, please, God. I'm not even lying. I was out there, I'm like, please, man. Like I need this right now. I need this emotional escapism. And it's not that all I want is un nuevo técnico, uno que conecte con la
yeah,
afición. Because pasado just on that, you can create so many things, man. So
yeah,
yeah, this is a plus. I think Berizzo is a plus. Quizás el técnico mejor preparado que ha llegado a León. So that's also a plus, and interesting key players. and a
I
lot of
don't
the
think
players.
we have a bad. I don't think we have a bad plantel
No,
either. We don't have
no.
on paper, like we're okay, like we're pretty good. Like those sparks that we showed
Hmm.
under Bava, if we can keep that up for 60, 70 minutes, that's good enough for me. I
Yeah,
think that's good enough to win a game. That's good enough to score
yeah.
multiple goals.
And
Yeah.
the difference could be someone like Berizzo that's even more inspiring or motivational for the players, or he's more tactical, or he's could orchestrate the team better, or play pieces together better, or even traer más piezas de la Esmeralda juveniles.
Yep.
Maybe this is exactly. I'm optimistic, man. I am.
Yeah. And he
Que
says
le
he
vamos a
plays
ganar a Cruz
4-4-3.
Azul.
He says he plays 4-4-3. So we're going back to
Oh, fine.
the
So
formation that won us some championships.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
see that, but that's
I
interesting.
think no,
I was
he's. I
hearing
mean,
only. Sorry.
no. Like you were saying before, Javi, how he came in Fecha FIFA. He's had at least one full week of training with the team already. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a little bit of time to put his ideology into place. He's not just coming in, and throwing him into the fire, for right before the match start. No, he's had a little bit of time. So this Saturday against Cruz Azul, who's obviously doing very well this season. I think
Yeah.
it'll be very interesting to see what he's gotten these guys to do in the time that he's been with them, the days that he's been with them so far.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting game.
What do you guys think happened with last thing we'll mention about Baba
Baba
before we move
and
on?
his
Yeah.
Tuojo?
What do you guys think happened with that?
All right, we need a new segment, like a conspiracy theory segment, and it's like, because I've heard so many rumors. I heard it Papa de Fidel. I've heard and I didn't hear this, but I heard we wish it was Adonis or something like that. But to be honest, I don't know what happened, man. I honestly feel in my heart of hearts it was some aficionado who just
You
saw
think
him.
so?
But I mean, like sometimes, I would understand. That's how frustrated I would. I would
It
never.
doesn't look
I don't condone
accidental,
violence.
It
What
doesn't
was the
look like
official story?
I don't.
It was an
I don't think
accident.
nobody
He
ever
fell
asked
like
him.
Bush. You guys
No
remember
one
Bush?
ever
What did he
asked.
say? He
So.
fell. Bush said he fell,
Bush
or
fell.
something like that. He had a black eye once when he was the president. I'm old, man. I'm 1992, man. I just
I
remember
don't
stuff.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on from Baba. Yeah.
Who knows whatever happened? Why he got the black eye? Pero that's his last good. That's a good, interesting image for him to be his last ever recordatorio para nosotros que le vamos a León.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll know the truth about who did it. We'll
never know, like Comiso.
Also, another departure. He wasn't the only one to leave. Fidel Ambris also left.
A lot of people are leaving, man. Yeah,
yes.
Fidel.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody expected Fidel to leave mid-season.
Nah.
Not
even him. Not even him. He even confessed that he a week prior to lo que pasó, he didn't have an idea of there was any plans of him leaving. At least this season.
No, but he did have to okay the move, which he did do.
Yeah.
So it's the end of an
probably
era.
Once it came.
I don't know. It seems kind of like a panicky move to me. Like the Directivo wanted to negotiate his transfer when there was still like a big money transfer to be negotiated, and the idea was to send him to Europe. But as we know, clubs like Monterrey and Tigres, they will pay the same market rate that European clubs will pay. Actually, they'll probably, in some instances, they'll pay more. So, it seemed like a knee-jerk kind of desperate kind of move. I will say, I didn't think Fidel's progression had been what it needed to be. I don't think, since being the best young player in Conca Champions, I don't think he took that next big leap in the year since then. I really don't. The year plus since then, I think he kind of stagnated. And Carlos, you've always been kind of, I'm not going to say skeptical, but you've always, when we've touted Fidel's praises, you've always been like, I don't know. I don't think Fidel's not the solution, man. Fidel's not going to be the one to take us to the promised land.
You were hating a little bit, Carlos.
Not hating, I don't know. Just hating's not the word.
Yeah. But you've definitely been
drinking that haterade.
A little perhaps.
But I understand what you were saying.
out of the regular members of this podcast, you've probably been the lowest on him. So I'm curious to what you think about this.
That's true.
Well, first of all, I was surprised. I did want him to stick around. I think his role on the team was elevated this season by giving him the captain band. Obviously, Baba was counting on him to be that captain, and when you're the captain, you're expected to lead the team. Pero I think that captain armband was a little too big on him. It's a little too loose, right? He didn't know how to lead. He didn't have that voice. He didn't, he didn't no encaraba a los árbitros, no le gritaba a los, his compañeros, none of that. He was lacking that leadership that we need on this team, and I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised that he left. But I think at this point it comes down to business. There's a European team that's offering you $2 million, and then there's a Rayados team that's offering you $8 million. Who are you going to sell to? Come on, let's just be honest with ourselves. You're going to sell for $8 million, get that bag, and then maybe bring in some refuerzos. Maybe that was the reason, the rumor about the Panamanian player that didn't end up coming. Maybe we sold him short. Maybe we didn't have the money, by the time Fidel left. But I was surprised. Fidel left the team. I didn't want him to leave, as many of you guys have said. He was supposed to be our first player exported to Europe. That didn't happen. And now we just got to move on. He's no longer part of the team. He's an enemy now. So, yeah. I mean, I'm always going to root for him because he's de la cantera de León, and all's good. I don't have any bad blood for him. No bad feelings, nothing. But I wish him success. But at this point, he's not part of our team anymore. He doesn't wear our jersey anymore, and I don't really care what happens from here on with his career. What about you, Javier? How do you feel?
That's a cold assessment, but I can get behind.
I can understand where you're coming from, Carlos. For me, he went to Monterrey, so I've always I have a list, and I put Monterrey almost second to last of teams that I don't really like. No rivalry, no hate towards them. It's just Louis mentioned a long time ago. An interesting fact that nunca se han enfrentado en una liguilla, and it's just it's a team where I for once I don't like Tigres at all, so I kind of don't mind he went to Monterrey as long as he didn't go to what teams like the other dude that we probably shouldn't even talk about. But yeah.
Shout out to Sauce Boy.
Boy, dude, I saw he's on YouTube, right? Yeah.
Saw his comments. He just said my primo from down there said he got into a dispute with Adonis, which is another reason he didn't play.
Who did? Fidel did?
Adonis punched Baba.
Baba.
Yeah, I mean, because the report on Adonis was that he caught some virus or something, right?
So he had some very strange illness. He had a very strange illness.
I don't know if I buy that one.
It's an illness called suck you in the face, and that's what happened. That's what happened to Baba, and Baba got a little bit of that sickness, boom, in the eye.
Sauce Boy on Fidel Ambris. I love the kid. Yes, he had a decline since then, but since he was one of us, I think the fans always stuck with him and believed in him. So when I heard he gave the okay to leave, I was hurt.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of wanted him to be an export anyway. If we got money from it, good. Yes, of course, don't like que se quedó aquí en la liga, pero as long as it's not the other teams I mentioned, and I didn't mention, but what teams, when we don't want him to ever go, we know those teams. We don't got to even say their names. Pero you just yo nomás le deseo suerte. One of the things he said about him being captain, though, I heard que a lot of people no le cayó bien, but I understand why they're doing it, because you have to como elevar su imagen. You kind of have to make them, que esté en la photo, because he has the armband, so he's gonna be in the photo. So it's just more reflectors on him, and of course that's always gonna be better for su valor. And
you think they did that on purpose?
Of course. And it's a way to also just kind of point out the fact that he's someone that they're really behind. Por eso, of course, they that was the end goal of all of this, and it's a good thing, but also what Louis is saying is so true. I don't think que acabó su de desarrollarse bien con León. I think que le faltaba, and I think this was just more of a panic maybe of a thing where there's just the money thing was first, and maybe they're not looking. This is why I think maybe Napoli, they're saying he might stay. All these things are things that maybe could have waited, but I think it tells you more behind maybe what's going on with Leon, and I think it's a big money issue problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, the fact
I
that
Yeah.
beat the
believe
Sociedad, but
I believe it is a fact. I believe it is a fact. It has been confirmed that Napoli is
yeah,
staying.
yeah,
Berizzo was asked about him, and he said, "Yes, we will be incorporating him." So,
okay.
for better
Can you
or
imagine?
worse.
So
Can you
yeah,
imagine
well, who
if he
knows?
turns it
Maybe he.
around?
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
happened. It's
both
happened. It's happened in
both
football.
him and Medina, both him and Medina, who's obviously no longer with the club either. But both of them, I mean, I think they have qualities. I mean, it's possible, maybe Berizzo can turn some of these guys around. If Napoli turns into a useful piece, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be great. And again, this is what you get when you actually invest your money on good coaches. But what's a good coach? That's subjective. But some with experience, and some with experience of also in selecciones, even with youth academies. I think also, again, and Louis knows, I have a deep respect for it's a respect that just Bielsa to me is when I started watching football, and even again he also Berizzo fue técnico de Bilbao, and I also kind of like Bilbao a lot. I like that their symbology is also a lion and stuff like that. Also because my last name I always thought it was weird, but apparently it's Basque, so that's why I kind of fell in love with the Athletic de Bilbao. So of course when Bielsa took over Bilbao, I really paid attention throughout that era, and I just kind of did my homework on Newell's, and I'm very optimistic because you never know. He could have Bielsa on speed dial and be like, hey man, this is Bielsa's probably gonna be watching the games and stuff like that. So who knows, man? It's just to me,
Yeah.
it's better than having Bava. That's what I'm trying to say. Like no matter how you look at it, you have someone with all of these herramientas and experiences and palancas and whatever. Infinitely a better situation. Now, again, is it going to work? We don't know. We've seen situations que vienen gente más que calificada, and for whatever reason, it doesn't work out. But hopefully, and I think León has had this history where cuando se va un técnico a medio torneo y viene uno nuevo, they always turn it around. The only one I think that they didn't do that was Nacho, but Nacho eventually became what he was.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
remember.
so it doesn't really matter. But almost all of them, like when Torrente, I think
Torrente,
even Chavo
yeah.
Diaz. I think even Chavo Diaz, but even then, like the chemistry again wasn't there, and that's important. And I think there is chemistry here with Berizzo, and I like that he was like, hey, they didn't really need that much to convince me. I'm here. I'm happy. He seems happy to be here, and yeah, again, I'm optimistic, man.
Yeah. I mean, well, our schedule isn't really in our favor over the next
These
few
couple
weeks.
of games aren't.
We faced Cruz Azul, Chivas, who's always a tough
Louis'
opponent,
favorite team.
San Luis, who's been like
Un
surprised this
coco
season,
lately.
Tigres, America, and then maybe we get
What I most hate.
maybe we get a few winnable games. Juárez, Atlas, Querétaro. I don't
We
know.
will
What
if
do you
you
guys
want to.
think? I mean, what do you guys think? How many of
I
these
mean, I
games
just
are
think.
possible?
Well, I was telling you
Hmm.
what is Atlas Querétaro stretch. I think that I was telling you. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. That all you need in this league is a 3-game winning streak and sprinkle in some points here and there from tougher games, and you're in the hunt. You've got a chance. I think that Querétaro Atlas Juarez stretch, that could be our 3-game winning streak, and we get maybe 4 points or something out of this stretch that's coming up. We can maybe squeak out a win, an unexpected win, either against Cruz Azul or Chivas or San
Yeah.
Luis. Get four, let's say 3 or 4 points out of that, and then we go on that 3-game winning streak. Then we're almost to the 20-point threshold. 20, 21, 22 points. That's about where you need to get to be in the conversation for playing places. And obviously we want to be talking about something a lot more exciting than that, but with the season we've had so
Yeah.
far, I mean, the play-in, the around that 7 to 10 range is probably what we're looking at if we're going to make it in. So, I mean, that's the point we're at. That is the situation we're in. And there's still a lot of points on the table to get us there. And so, you should never count your team out in Liga MX. Again, all you need is a little winning streak, and you're right back in it.
Yeah. Only if you're estranged to Liga MX, you probably would be like, oh heck no, it's over for Leon. But we're no stranger to this league, and of course, and another thing that could happen. I'm looking at the America game because that's a game at home, and it's a team that's not at its best, pero siempre es muy motivante para la afición y para el equipo when you beat America, like when you beat Chivas. So especially America though, and I think if that was to happen, I think then you got the Juarez game, you got the Atlas game, and the Querétaro game, and anímicamente, man, you could see it earlier. You could see it with Cruz Azul. I'm not counting nothing out, man. Like I've seen. I don't care if Cruz Azul is leader. We're talking about Cruz Azul. We're talking about el equipo que la Cruz Azulea históricamente. So like, what does that even say? Plus, Liga MX, I've seen where super líder lose to Juarez or Jaguares, or stuff like that. When they're like on the bottom of the table. So
anything can happen.
Anything can happen in Liga Mexicana, and again, this is una liga en que un partido anímicamente te puede cambiar todo, and it's just, this could be the game, and maybe you go a little bit more motivated to Guadalajara, and it's always a beautiful thing to beat Chivas, especially in su casa. I know Louis is probably what he loves most in his life as Fido Viajero. I think it's top probably 2 of things he likes to. I'm going to go on the limb, probably top 1. Just going to Guadalajara and Leon beating them. That's probably his favorite thing to probably witness.
That is, it's definitely up there. It happened last season, and I'll be there next week, hopefully to see it happen again.
It will, Louis. It will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We don't have Maraviñas anymore, so it's going to have to be someone else finding the magic for us. But I'll be there for that Wednesday night game.
That still hurts, man. The Maraviñas thing still hurts me. A quick question, because I just saw it and I didn't want to look at it more. It's something that but ¿se fue a préstamo o lo compraron? El Oviedo.
Préstamo.
Okay.
I mean, but if he's sending him to Oviedo, he's still basically, it's all the same.
Yeah. It's préstamo, I think, for 1 year. So he's not even coming back for Club World Cup, as was rumored. Like people thought, like, oh, he's coming back in 6 months. No, he's not.
He's done.
He's staying there for a year.
December.
Yeah.
And probably something else.
Yeah. When's a good week to give a fair assessment of Berizzo? Like, how many weeks are we going to give him before we can make a fair assessment, considering the opponents that he has to face too? Like, when do we?
I'd say 3 matches. We have 3 matches in a real short span here. We've got Cruz Azul in 2 days, then midweek against Chivas, and then home again to San Luis. I'd say after that, if we've gotten, I don't know, six points, 6 or 7 points out of that. I mean, I think we're really, 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 really good shape.
Yeah.
Even though we gotten 4
What's
points
the worst
out of that,
case?
I think it's a pretty decent start. Worst case is like 1 or 2 points out of that.
Yeah. Best case, obviously.
Yeah.
9 is probably unrealistic, but if we take 6 points out of that, I think that's a great start.
Like for me, for instance, like I'm gonna take it 2 games though, like because here's the thing: these 2 next games are very like I know 3 is perfect, pero son 2 partidos muy importantes: Cruz Azul and Chivas at home and over there, and I think those are the two games. If you win just one of them, ya hizo su tarea porque tu chamba, hasta te puedo decir, because Baba has a once since when, and that's all we're trying to look for at this point with these 2 very important games is a win. If they can win at least at home with Cruz Azul as super líder, or si le ganan a Guadalajara, I would be more than. If we lose both games, I wouldn't be disappointed. I wouldn't be disappointed because like we can make, pero también depende de cómo pierdes, como si también no hay, that's more concerning. If it's again, again, we have to like really
se
just
le tiene que ver algo
realize,
diferente.
claro, porque muchas veces el León juega y está jugando bien, and sometimes it could be even like a just dumb error of maybe el árbitro or maybe Barreiro mete la mano y penal or something like that. You know what I mean? Y echa a perder todo, but again, it's just how sometimes you lose. With Baba, it just felt like we weren't going to win because nothing was in our favor. You know, it just felt like nothing ever. Like I saw that. You know, when I realized that when we tied, or I think we tied the game with Cholos when I went with you with my dad, Louis, and it was like último minuto, and I'm like I left early. I'm out, man.
Yeah.
And then and I felt it like this is gonna be the vibe for the rest of whatever how long Baba stays with Leon, because it was just there. It was like you just feel it cuando no hay conexión, cuando no se conecta. Like you can even, if you guys believe in this, like even visualize it. Can you visualize campeón León Bob? I couldn't even see it. I didn't even visualize. So right there, I have a problem with Berizzo. Heck yeah, I could see him llevándonos al segundo, saliendo del grupo del club de mundiales. Of course, I can see Berizzo doing that. If and only if le prometen a Berizzo, la directiva le prometen a Berizzo lo que le prometieron. Because the whole Paiva situation is that they brought him in with an idea and in a plan that he just said, hey man, they didn't really have that for me. And again, right now con no venir Puma, you know, whatever the like, I'm still optimistic, but again, I think it has to be everyone haciendo su chamba, everyone. And I think that's the reality of that we're looking at, because you know Berizzo and these players that are now left with Leon, you know, can't clean up a whole mess that's been put out since I think desde que Ambriz no, desde que el representante de Ambriz messed up el contrato, el extension. I think since then everything has fallen, because everything just felt like, you know, and of course Larcamon came was a good thing, that was a high thing, pero that just to me is when everything started feeling kind of shady, you know, like things weren't like, it was just kind of like there's more to this del Deportivo, that the León has a problem, you know. It's like la Federación Mexicana en la Selección Mexicana. It's like you can't really blame los técnicos. It goes more than that.
How do you guys feel about the any changes in the starting 11? Are we going to see new players get a chance? Maybe some players get benched. Maybe Poncho Blanco gets sent to the bench, or is he going to continue?
Yeah.
You know, what do you guys think? What do you guys? Well,
you can start there with the
we don't really have an idea. We don't really have an idea because it's a new coach. We haven't seen anything yet. But what would you guys want to finish or to change?
Poncho Blanco said something like, now we all gonna start from zero. And there was a cool picture of because that's another cool thing about Berizzo, es sus auxiliares, su cuerpo técnico, y el entrenador de porteros. There's a picture with them, and also it was Poncho Blanco. It was what's I forgot the other guy's name, Alejandro. No, what's his name? El otro portero de León, and the other
Oscar
two
Jimenez?
youngsters. Jimenez.
Oscar Jimenez.
And then there's two other young porteros de León, and I feel like he's looking at all four of them seriously. Like he's like, I'm gonna start all over, and I think that's a good thing. I think he's really gonna look to las fuerzas básicas and look into all of that right now. So I think there will be maybe surprises. Maybe there will be surprises.
Boy wants to see Barreiro benched.
Why Sauce Boy? Why?
He says, I think he's very unreliable, and a lot of times Belon is making up for his mistakes.
I feel like a lot of times that I remember him, he's always marca unos penales por meter la mano. Like if someone can make a compilation, sometimes I feel like I just forgot his name too. Louis, who just passed away, the voice of Darth Vader. What's his name again?
James Earl Jones.
You know. James Earl Jones. There you go. Rest in peace,
James Earl Jones. A quick aside, a very, very, very important figure in my childhood, my entire existence. He's been a part of so many things that were important to me.
But you know what's crazy? I felt when I saw that news, I felt like, hey man, I thought he passed. It was like the Mandela effect. This is really a trip about it. So with the whole Barreiro situation, is like, am I tripping, or is it at least like 4 or 5 times que ha hecho como que salta y tiene la mano muy alzada y marcan penal? Like I don't know how many times it's happened. But I think he's again. There's one season que nos cayó la boca. Of course, el título del Guardianes 2020, and he was really good around that era. But lately, he has been making a lot of mistakes, and it's just kind of like what Saspo is kind of alluding to.
Yeah, it's like I think sometimes he does goofy stuff like a mano, or he'll cause a penalty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. That's what I'm saying. If I'm tripping, because I feel like I've seen it more than 3 times.
He's had he's
So
had a
like
rough time, but I mean I can't. There's nobody on this team who's had a good season.
that's
You
true.
know, there's nobody on this team who's had a good season. I think a lot of that has to
I,
do with the the type of atmosphere that was in the locker room with the coach.
yeah,
There's a lot of talk about what happens in the locker room. You know what I mean? Like how bad things were. People, nobody really celebrating with each other after a goal. But
yeah. They even that.
whatever happened to
Even
the guy El Juvenil who was benched after the first game against Pumas? We never saw him again. Cervantes, I think it is.
who was that? Cervantes Jair Uribe. Who
Cervantes,
was that?
we never heard from him again.
No, was that the one who Baba benched?
Yep,
Yeah.
Que estaba llorando, Cervantes.
yep,
See,
yeah,
even from that's what I'm saying, man. Even from then, ya estaba haciendo cosas que you were like, yeah, it's a
yeah,
good
man.
question. No, it's a good question, Carlos.
Yeah,
That's whatever happened to him, and maybe this is a good thing that this new coach is coming. He's probably gonna really turn things around in that whole aspect and environment. The only one that I would say was kind of maybe porque él tiene también sus aspiraciones como todos es Iván Moreno. He's been playing, I think, a pesar de las situaciones. I even felt like he loved Bava. I felt like he really wanted him to stay. Como metió, But look, it is what it is. It's just something that we've seen time and time with Leon, and a lot of people would always say the rumors that le están tendiendo la cama and stuff like that. Pero a veces el equipo se puede caer, and I think with Baba it was definitely that. It was more that than any. I don't think the players weren't really trying. It was a combination of, again. I don't know if you believe in bad luck, but it was just also you just didn't no se
yeah.
hacían no metían los goles.
Whatever happened to Isais?
Mauricio
Yeah,
Isaías. Yeah.
with
Whatever
the
happened
guy
to
who
that
came with
guy?
Toluca. Was
Yeah.
it like
Yeah.
controversy because they didn't even announce him on redes sociales?
Yeah, he didn't get a
Wasn't
proper
it?
introduction.
He didn't get a proper introduction at all. From
Yeah,
there,
and
ya
he hasn't
empezaron
played.
mal con
And he
Isaías.
hasn't played. I think he's a lateral, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think he's a
Yes.
left back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Hmm.
left back.
I didn't
I
see
mean,
him in Toluca.
I mean,
I wouldn't know.
it's honestly it's tough to fill that position. From his
Yeah.
from his perspective, because like you have Chava Reyes over there doing a great job. I mean, I think
Yeah.
he's been one of the standout
Oh yeah,
performers this
you're
season.
right. Chava.
Yeah, Chava Reyes.
I mean, understated a little bit, maybe, but yes, definitely, he's been very good.
Yeah, Chava
I think
Reyes.
the word is consistent. He's been very consistent.
Yeah. Ivan Moreno doesn't even play right back anymore. He's like a false nine now. Did you guys notice that?
Well, with Baba, he had him
Yeah, yeah,
very
that's
much
what I mean.
como yeah. Well, again, look, I'm optimistic because I know Berizzo, Escuela de Bielsa, he watches tapes. Now, we're in the 21st century, so he watches videos. He watches. I'm pretty sure he's watching. He's been watching the games, and I'm pretty sure he's seen. This is why I'm optimistic, man. Porque no se crean. Yo sé que Bielsa's loco, and for many reasons, but I think his ways of doing things at times, um, it just depends on what team he's doing it. And I think, but when Berizzo's coming to Leon, I think maybe he will have the tools. I
Yeah.
think he might have also the resources with La Esmeralda y la Universidad and all of that. So I'm optimistic, man. I feel like maybe he probably saw Ivan could do that. He's probably seen other things, and he's probably going to do the best he can to make a interesting starting lineup against Cruz Azul. Will it be surprises? That's a good question, man. I probably. Yo creo que empezando con el portero, it might not be Poncho Blanco, man. But who knows? I haven't seen anything.
Yeah. How about we head into prediction time? You guys want to
Prediction
give
time.
predictions on
Ready?
Leon versus Cruz Azul this Saturday?
Sure,
This
yeah.
Saturday
I was
prime
born
time.
ready, bro. I
We
was
have
born ready,
Let's
bro.
do it.
we're on prime time. Anyway, let's go into prediction time, guys. Give us your predictions in the chat.
Prediction time.
All right, Javier, go for it. Take us off.
Okay, man. Look, afición, que las cosas pasan no, I froze on purpose. I'm sorry. Que las cosas pasan por algo, and I think we have to go through the bad to appreciate the good. I think we have very important fecha coming up, so I think con este nuevo técnico que va a llegar, I think I've seen it many times. And look, man, it just depends on right now. I'm not even gonna play like if I was in Las Vegas or whatever. I'm just gonna right now what I feel or what I want to happen, because I felt like they're not gonna really go for a really good técnico, and they did. So I'm gonna continue that train of thought, be more optimistic. And I know to think que le puedan ganar el Cruz Azul is una locura, but I've seen it happen, and if it could happen anytime, it could be right now. If this is a técnico que va a hacer historia con León, que nos va a ganar la novena, which we of course we want. This is the same thing about Baba. Like, I didn't see that. I didn't even feel it. I didn't even think I wanted it. So it's kind of like with this, for sure, I want la novena, la décima, and maybe the most important thing, making a great participation in the Mundial de Clubes, because if you advance from your group or even just participate in the amount of money you get, but it could be a life changer for León, of course, un equipo que le falta dinero. So I'm going to go all the way, man. I'm going to think optimistic y gana la Fiera 3-2. Partidazo.
Wow,
como siempre han sido los partidazos, como siempre han sido los partidos de Cruz Azul León. People are saying they're going to tie everything. I get it. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm going to pray. I'm going to manifest it like never before. Like when I used to play FIFA in 2010 and I used to create León and I used to say, vamos a go en primera un día. And look, we're in primera and we're like doing better than just in primera. So I believe in stuff. I believe in these stuff.
Wow, that's
3-2. Gana la Fiera 3-2.
That's a heck of a game.
Con una gran participación de Cádiz.
Okay.
Well, will he be available? Hold on. I take that back. Will he be available? Okay.
Yes, he will.
He should be, right? Yeah.
He's playing with Venezuela. So, all right, cool.
Louis, go for it, man.
Yeah, I'm also going to predict to win, I think, which would be a sorpresa at this point. I mean, because we haven't won all season and this is a super leader. Yes, even though we are playing at home, I unfortunately do expect a strong representation from the Cruz Azul faithful in our stadium, especially because this is a Puente weekend. So I'm sure a lot of people will be coming to make the trip to that match. They did put some juicy prices on those tickets to try to avoid that. But I do expect to see some Cruz Azul faithful in the stadium. But I do think we are going to dar la sorpresa. I think we're going to win. I think it's going to be a little more. I'm going to put a little more conservative score line. I'm going to say 2-1. But I think we are going to get the job done. 2-1.
2-1.
Eso, Louis.
Hey, that's a pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty good score. I was going to go 2-1, but I think I'm going to change it up. I actually don't think we'll win, but I don't think we'll lose. No, I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go with a draw. Yeah. I think
high scoring draw.
High scoring draw. I think just Cruz Azul, man, they've just been a contender this season. With the signings that they've had. Just the rhythm that they're coming in. I mean, just last season being in the finals, and now this season they're just continuing their rhythm.
Yeah.
And we've just, you guys know, if you don't know how we've been playing, hit reverse on this episode and rewatch it. But we haven't been that great. And yes, I think it'll be great if we could win, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be too early. So I'm gonna go 2-2. 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
2-2 draw.
And that's fair.
Boy. Yeah, it's fair. So I mean, if we get
tie as well, because that's like a
win. That's going to be
it's like a win, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Porque estamos hablando de esos tres partidos que vienen. How many do you think? And of course, this is if we lose it, it wouldn't be a surprise because we're like, we haven't won all season, and this is super líder del torneo, so it's kind of like it would bum you out, of course, because to Louis' point, I think it probably would be like 50-50 maybe in el estadio. The times I've been to the games in León, so they're pretty cool, man, because they're 50-50. Cantan León, Azul, León. So going to be 50-50. So I think that being said, I do kind of want to see just un partidazo at the end of the day. I think we're estamos pronosticando, interesting score lines, pero I think what I have a feeling about this, again, I don't know what it is, pero yo creo que va a haber un cambio, sí va a haber un cambio en el equipo, en cómo, how they're going to play.
I mean, there has to be, dude. There
has to be. But that being said, like, so I think the energy and the anxious of the think about it from this point of view, man, is like I think the reason why we're more anxious or the reason why we're more like kind of como desesperado is because it's our 80th anniversary. Estamos valiendo, you know what? Y va a venir el Mundial de Clubes, and it's kind of like, dude, this can't happen, man. It's like, put some respect on our team. It's desesperado because todos los que hemos pasado, lo que fue el descenso, lo que fueron estos años, and it just feels like that. It just feels like, even though again we could be exaggerating because mira lo bueno, pero lo que pasa aquí es que we want a team que nos enamore como la afición de León está acostumbrado, un equipo que gane, golee y guste, and that's one of the things that
if we manage to get into Liguilla, I was going to say play-in, but that seems too easy. If we manage to get into Liguilla, I didn't purchase one. I will purchase one of the 80th anniversary jerseys.
Oh, the heck yeah, one? Me too, man.
I didn't get everything. One. I didn't think it was that great.
I didn't get one either.
You be honest, Carlos.
But I'll get one.
We didn't even talk about that. That was the first
Carlos
official Leon kit. That was the first official Leon kit that came out that I had literally no interest in obtaining, and I did not obtain it.
Why though?
If they still have some, I just thought it was lazy. It was a lazy design.
It's lazy.
It was like a cash grab. It feels like a cash grab.
It was a cash grab. I mean, the price was exorbitant. I mean, they cannot charge the same price for that thing that they charged for the Mundial de Clubes jersey, which was a joya. I mean, that jersey was great.
Yeah.
Or the first jersey that Charlie came out with, that one was only 2,000. The you remember which one I'm talking about? The one they used in Campeón de Campeones
against Cruz Azul. Yeah.
Yeah. That was an amazing jersey. That was only 2,000. This one was 3,000, and it looked like the Charlie designers, forgot they were on a deadline, and they came.
How much is that in dollars?
Last 10 minutes of their workday.
Is that like
3,000 pesos right now is like
it's like $1.50.
3,000 pesos right now is like
150. But back, actually, right now, yeah, you're right. It's like
$153.70.
That's a lot of money.
Más impuestos.
Más impuestos y luego que no esté tan, como decimos, tan creativa. I think the designs were kind of, I get it, but I think you already kind of did that theme with the newspaper one. Like they're putting all the most important fechas. Like I think you guys already did that kind of.
Yeah.
Like kind of.
Well, it's on the Charlie. It's on the Charlie website for $160.
See, $160. See, so they even more for us. That's
why I said if we make Liguilla, not play in Liguilla.
You're gonna buy that unnecessary jersey?
I'll buy it. I'll rock it.
Yeah, I'll rock it.
Just because they turn the season around. If they turn the season around,
okay, yeah,
I'll buy it.
You're rocking.
Yeah, I'll rock it.
I'll get the training one. I'll just get the training. I'll rock that. I'm gonna go more for style, bro. Like I never bought any of the training ones, or they look pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie, they're clean. Yeah, man. That's another issue we could talk a lot about. Sus playeras que han sacado, and I like this dude. Actually, yeah. You know what though? I'm not mad at this new design, the Escudo de León. I was kind of wondering how long they were going to keep it just for this torneo or the whole year or take it to Mundial de Clubes. But when the Club World Cup presented
this season, right?
This season, maybe because the Club World Cup wasn't aware.
Yeah, it might be next season too, just for the 80th anniversary or whatever. But I don't.
You think maybe para el Mundial de Clubes they'll keep this? I like El Escudo, man. It's elegante. I actually do like it. And I'm not mad at this design. I've seen it for many years.
Also, another thing, I don't know, Louis, I don't know if you've been to the stadium yet, but I saw some pictures or some reports that they were repainting it.
Oh, I haven't seen. I'll I'll take a look on
You'll know
Saturday and report
firsthand.
back.
On Sat.
Yeah, they were repainting it. I saw some pictures. They're leaving the candy green color behind and going towards the emerald, elegant
More
emerald green.
Esmeralda.
Yeah.
Of course, bro. That's us. That's us. Think about how many teams in the world usa el color Esmeralda.
Yeah.
Not that many. And Leon was one of the first in history, if not the first.
Yeah. All
So
right,
in
guys.
1944, for sure, eran los Esmeraldas.
Yeah. Let's get out of here. We're 1 hour
Yeah, I gotta
in.
walk the dogs.
Let's get. I know, me too. I was just thinking that. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Thank you guys for joining us, Sauce Boy, and everyone else who was in the chat who didn't drop a comment. We got some Facebook likes. Episode 167, Leon this Saturday against Cruz Azul, Saturday, September 14th. Make sure to tune in prime time. We'll be back next week to give you guys a report. And we're out of here. Thank you for joining
Hasta la
us
próxima.
on another episode of the Lions Den podcast.